I started going to church when I was probably 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there. I would sneak out of the house with messy hair, PJs, and I'd get in trouble every time I come back because my hair wasn't done. I was still in PJs, and I think I gave my life to Jesus about when I was 13, and I was baptized. But when I graduated, I decided God wasn't cool anymore, and I stepped away from church. I stepped away from God, and I said, I want to live life on my own now. I moved away to college, and oh, hey, let's go have a party this weekend turned into, let's go have a drink tonight and tomorrow night and the night after that. And for me, drinking became the norm. I knew I didn't want to walk away from God, but I didn't want Him either. I felt I needed to live life on my own. I didn't want to be those religious nuts out there that was church all the time. Anybody would say something about God, I'm like, God isn't real. God doesn't exist. God doesn't like me if He does exist. Because in my brain, I was like, hey, I've messed up. I let God down. He doesn't want me, so I don't want Him. I dropped out of school, and then I met this guy at work. He was my best friend. And a couple years later, we got married. And a year after we were married, we had our first daughter. And I realized after having my first daughter, I didn't want my daughter to be growing up in a party lifestyle. And I figured, well, there's no hope for me because I had messed up with God. But maybe there could be hope for my daughter. I talked to my husband. I said, I want to take her to church. So we started going to this little church. Just before her 3rd birthday, my husband got saved. So I gave God my daughter. My husband got saved. Still in my head, God didn't want anything to do with me. God couldn't possibly love somebody like me. He couldn't take me back after how many times I said He wasn't real. So we were coming to Victory Church at that point, and we found out we couldn't have any more kids. And one day Pastor Paul sat us down and he prayed for us. And a few weeks later we found out we were pregnant. And then we found out we were having twins. And that year in the church, it was double for your trouble year. And to me, that was part of God going, I still see you. But I didn't know if I wanted Him to see me because I figured I wasn't worthy anymore. After the girls were born, they got sick. They had RSV, just about lost both of them. And God answered my prayer yet again to save them. A couple years later, I went to a women's conference, and there was this lady who came up and gave her testimony and talking about all the things that she had done to walk away from God and all the stuff that she did. And I remember breaking down and crying during the service, and I'm like, God, if you can use her, maybe you can love me too. That was the night that I said, God, have me. I will give you me again. So I had this precious lady come up to me, and she's like, we're doing this seminar. We want you guys there. No idea what we were getting ourselves into, and I went to the seminar. It changed my life. The Tools for Life changed my life in a huge way. And got me to drop some of my stuff. And again, I remember going home and I'm like, God, I'm sorry. I can't believe you would still love somebody like me. And I feel like in the Bible, you don't really get to know these stories. They're just stories until you've lived through them. And God showed me a few weeks ago about the story of the prodigal son. And the son had gone and lived his life for the world, and he wanted to do it his way. And that was exactly what I did. But in the end, the father was standing there with open arms saying, come back. I want you back. No matter what we've done, no matter how many times we've said God isn't real, no matter how many times we push God away, no matter how far we try to run without Him, He's right there. And His love is simple. It's unconditional. The Greek word simple means unceremonious. It doesn't need a big fancy preacher. It doesn't need a big fancy church. It doesn't need a great big church service to give your life back to God. His love is simple. It's unconditional. It's unceremonious. And it's touchable.